Well, thank you everybody for joining. We're at the number of folks that we were expecting, so we're going to go ahead and get started here on really the importance of maximizing your company image and branding on LinkedIn. So really, why is that important? LinkedIn is vacillating between the 6th and the 7th most visited website in the United States. And so it's really at a point where it's something that can't be ignored. So why are folks coming to LinkedIn? We've got 300 million individuals that are coming. And why are they coming to LinkedIn? They're coming to LinkedIn to invest time. The majority of the other social networks, be it Facebook, Pinterest, that's what people are doing to spend time, keep up on items in their personal life. When they're coming to LinkedIn, they're looking for three things. They're looking for career information, they're looking for updates on brand, and current affairs or current market information. And so what we're going to focus on today is updates on brands and how you are setting forth that image and how our ecosystem works. So what I always like to do is that, this is hosted by LinkedIn, so I like to take some neutral third-party information to kind of validate what we're looking at. So this is some information that I pulled from social media today, it's a little bit dated, but current enough to be relevant. So what this information states is that LinkedIn drives more traffic to corporate websites than any other social network. 64% of traffic from LinkedIn can go back to your website. And so what does that mean to you? By branding on LinkedIn, by proxy and part and parcel at no cost, you're actually getting your search engine optimization taken care of for you as well. So it's very, very important to not only have that presence, but foster and take care of that presence to make sure that you are projecting the brand image that you want, especially in our business because it's 100% relationship driven. The lion's share of the clients that I see, they're driving traffic to the individual personal profiles, not to their company brand. And, if a recruiter or business development manager ever leaves, all of that goes with them, all of that business. So really what we need to do is focus on our brand for the health of our relationships, but also growing and maintaining our business. And so, once again, this isn't a message that's resonating from our team personally or from LinkedIn. This is something that's coming from, staffing industry analysts as well. Is your LinkedIn company page helping your business? It can help or it can hurt. And so that's really what we want to talk about today is regardless of whether or not you're looking to generate awareness, build community, or drive consideration and preference, or generate traffic and leads, you really need to make sure that you've got your presence dialed on LinkedIn. So we're going to walk through, how to help you do that. So how do people engage with your company? How is traffic coming your way? So there's the organic traffic. In-mails are coming, telephone calls, email messages. What that's going to happen is people are going to be researching your employees. Let's make sure that person who's looking at your employees doesn't stop there. They're going to connect with them, but also make sure that they're taking that next step, that next leap to research your company and affiliating with your brand. And then really, to bring that full cycle, what we want to do is we want to make sure that those individuals raise their hand and follow your company. Why do we want them to follow your company? Well, these are folks that have self-elected to be your brand ambassador. And so what that enables us to do is create a pool that we can recruit from, derive business from, and at no additional cost, we can go ahead and push out, at scale targeted updates to these individuals so that we can position our brand, position ourselves as industry leaders in the area. So what does our proven model for success look like? And how do we accomplish this? It's pretty easy. So the first thing you want to do is establish your presence. If you don't already have a company page, you've got to make that happen. If you don't have it optimized, you've got to make that happen. The second step is to attract followers. So what we want to do is we want to make it easy for those folks to come into our ecosystem. The third thing we want to do is continue to engage them with relevant content. And then what we want to do is analyze that, refine, and work to grow. And that's the cycle there. So how do we work on building a community? So what we want to do is go ahead and work to invite those folks. So we want to have that company presence. We want, to drive the traffic there, and we want to get those folks to follow us. We're going to touch on some APIs and things like that as well to make it very easy for those folks to touch on you with one click. So followers, just to take a step back, what exactly is that follower going to do for you, right? We understand that it's a self-elected brand ambassador and that it's a pool that you can recruit from or derive business from, but there's some significant benefits to that as well. They're 78% more likely to respond back to an email, right? If you've got a career page, they're 6 times more likely to view those opportunities. And really, the most important one that I would like to highlight is they're 10 times more likely to share content that's distributed by companies they follow. That's how your information goes viral. That's how we get, this information to populate across the network and have basically the information that you're sharing continue to do work for you while you're spending time with your kids or sleeping, right? And so, once we've enabled these folks to come into our ecosystem, it's really important to share information with them to keep them engaged. You can have a follower, but if you don't do anything with them, then they're not going to do anything for you. And so how do we do that? Here we've got the 10 tips for managing status updates, which I'm going to talk at a very high level. Yes, we are going to provide a copy of this presentation and some supplemental materials in the group as well. So if it feels like I'm not touching on everything, you will be able to reference this material. And of course, you can always reach out to somebody here at LinkedIn and we'll answer your specifics. So the great thing about LinkedIn is that we have very heavy back-end data analytics. So what we're going to enable you to do, and this is all a free service, is actually segment your audience to make sure that you are targeting a message to folks that resonates well with them. So when you go in and go ahead and work to do that company update, let's target an audience, right? Let's make it industry focused, function focused, whatever it is. I've found in talking with folks that a lot of people weren't even aware that this drop down was there. So, and I think this is very fundamental and important to success. So we'll walk through that as well. And as far as best practices around status updates, like I said, we've got these 10 tips here, but there will be material in the group as well that'll take it to a more granular level for you. So targeted status updates, like I said, really, really exciting. So what you have the ability to do is, if you are the company administrator, because on the free side, that is the only way that somebody can post a status update through the company feed, which is going to show up to all followers in their news feed. What you want to do is go ahead and do this, select a status update, and then go ahead and segment your audience. Now, to those of you that are with smaller firms or newer to building your follower audience, there is an audience minimum to be able to carve this data, and that size is 100. So, that's kind of some homework to work to build your follower base a little bit more so that you can work to carve that, but I did want to let you know. So then what you can do down here is, it's going to be share with target audience. Go ahead and select that audience, whatever it is. We've got a number of industries, represented here. And then what that's going to enable you to do is target that content, right? We don't necessarily want to send IT requirements to somebody in the marketing field. So let's, with 3 clicks, it's no time to you, post 2 different status updates to resonate best with that audience so that you are adding the most value so they see you as the industry expert. And so the other thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at the metrics. What's happening with these status updates? We can't work to get better at something that we don't know how we're doing. And so always be sure to take a look at the interactions here. Analyze the results. You'll notice that based on timing, based on content, that you're going to see significantly more likes, shares, or overall engagement or views. That's what we're looking for. And so make sure to take a look at that. Once again, if you have, questions at a more granular level about what that means, we'll post that information in the group, and you can always feel free to reach out to a resource, because what we really want to do is we want to see that follower path grow over time. Another thing here as well is harkening back to the APIs. We've got all this for you, right? There's no cost here. These links, they work. What we want to do is on your website, right? We want to enable those folks to follow you on LinkedIn. And we also want, within your signature as well, for folks to affiliate across your company as a whole, even if you're a single person shop. We really want that, those prospects, those candidates to affiliate with your brand, not necessarily with you as an individual. We've done the work for you. It takes 2 minutes. That's how we're going to easily capture these folks. And so that's at a high-level overview of, really what you guys need to take care of. And so what we'd really like to do now is just go ahead and jump into the live portion of how to make some of this live, because I know some of it can be a little bit challenging. So what I want to do here now. Okay, perfect. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to show you how to put some of this live for some of you that may not have a company page or need to do some updates here. So once again, what you're going to do is go ahead and hover over your picture here, and we're going to go down to company page, and we're going to select this manage hyperlink here. And so what's going to happen is that's going to bring up the edit function. Now, if you're set as an admin, like I said, you're going to be able to share, content and carve that audience. You're also going to be able to make any edits and modifications to the pages. For larger organizations, if you're looking for folks to be able to, share updates, maybe it's a recruiting manager, we do have that functionality, but that would be on the paid side. So I just want to make sure I clarify that with folks. So going back to the followers, so real simple here. I think, this is one of those buttons that's there. We just don't ever think about it or see it. So if we select here, that's where we can work to target our audience. So we've got company size that we can filter by. We can include, employees or non-employees. We've got industry. We've got function. We've got seniority. We've got geography. So if we're posting jobs and we want to truncate it to a specific area, you can do that. Now, this is a live company page, so I'm not going to be sharing anything, but the takeaway there is to make sure that you realize that the targeted audience segmentation is available at no additional cost and that you can quite easily leverage that. As far as any editings for pages, that would happen over here in the edit as well. A lot of folks come up with questions. So here's some FAQs here. And you also have the ability to sponsor your update as well, should you be interested in doing that. But as far as editing the page, we would just go ahead and click here. And this takes us into edit mode where we can go ahead and make any changes. If you're hesitant about making those changes and having it be pushed out, don't. Nothing's going to go live until you hit this publish button here. So you can toy with the content a little bit and make that happen. But let's make sure that we're leveraging everything we possibly can on this side, having the designated admins and having this recruiting poster. Now, in all fairness, getting this image in here may be a little bit difficult to get that exact formatting, but it's a banner ad, it's free, it enables you to extend your branding image at no additional cost. So, let's be sure to leverage that. And any of that happens here through change image. It's a pretty intuitive user interface, but of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. So once again, to recap, we'll just walk through this. So company page, We go to Manage here. This is where we're going to share any status updates. Any edits or changes are going to happen over here. If we have any questions around images, this is where we can find all of our details here as well. And one other thing I would like to highlight, because this is a question that I get quite regularly, is I'm in search and staffing. I see that I can create a showcase page. Is that something that I should do? And the answer to that is no, and I will tell you why. LinkedIn, historically, our platform has been built for large-scale corporations. Search and staffing is a unique entity. And so the purpose of the showcase page is for separate and distinct portions of a brand. And the reason you do not want to create a showcase page is because you do not want to segment your audience. And what we really want to do is house everybody in one area where we can send out a mass message or where we can target and segment that audience. So if you have a very unique use case, feel free to reach out to your representative, but generally I've yet to see one use case in search and staffing where the showcase page is going to benefit you. I think folks see that, they're very excited to jump on board because they think it's free, it's an additional offering. But all you're going to do is segment your audience, and that's exactly what we don't want to do. So really, in order to recap, if you don't have a company page, make sure you get that set up. If you do have a company page, make sure you are fully leveraging all of the facets that we're going to provide you with. If you don't have that banner ad, just pull it over from your website, right? The other thing we want to be mindful of is pulling over the branding, understanding that both Google and LinkedIn are all about keyword matching. So in order to maximize your SEO, what you definitely want to do is have all of the keywords of how you want to be found. Just reverse what you do on a day-to-day basis. You search based on keywords, and that's how LinkedIn and Google, how your prospects on the candidate or client side are going to find you. So make sure that all of the content you put in is keyword optimized. So once we've got our presence styled, we definitely want to make sure that all of our employees are properly linked to our company page. That's very important. We want to give full brand recognition to all of our folks and drive that traffic back. The next step would be to engage the current followers that we have with relevant content, either on a general or a targeted basis. The targeted, the better, right? We want it to be very intentional. We want it to be thoughtful, and we really want the content to position you as a thought leader. That's what it's all about. There's a lot of choices in the business that we're in, and so we want to make the choice very easy for the folks that are looking at your information. Sharing your articles. Where are you going to find that information? You can find it in your newsfeed, right? There's going to be the next segment is going to focus more on the content piece, so you'll get some information on that as well. And then finally, what we want to do is, whether or not it's reaching out via email or folks looking at our website, we want to implement those free APIs so that traffic can be encompassed on LinkedIn as well. And so, that being said, it's a lot of information to garner. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and turn it over for some questions. And so you can feel free to type your questions in the chat box, and those will come through. So first question that we had, I already touched on it, but yes, you will be able to get a copy of this presentation. It will be posted in the group, Recruiting in the Digital Age, as well. Once this presentation webinar is concluded, you will have the ability to, give some feedback. Please do that. If you're interested in a hard copy of the presentation, feel free to include that, as a note, and we'll send that to you directly. If something in the form of questions, came out of this, and you would like your rep to reach out to you directly, you can note that as well, and we'll hop on making sure that somebody gets in touch with you with a more customized session. So other than that, I'll just give a couple more minutes here for some questions to come through. Okay, got it. So one of the questions, we had, great question. How do you delete a status update? You can do that. In any status update, there's going to be a little drop down in the right-hand side where you can go ahead and delete that if it was done accidentally. In that same vein, you can do the same thing for any status update that you've posted on the individual side as well. So then I've got another question here that says, is the add jobs option free? I'm a little bit perplexed by this one. I'm not sure if we're talking about the career tab. That is a paid service. As far as adding jobs, any posting on LinkedIn would be a free service. So I hope that addresses that question. If not, feel free to give a little bit more context into that, and we can chime in.
So something to consider too, when you think about the content that you're posting to your followers and those that you want to engage in the future, a lot of recruiters have asked me, again, this is Joe Gonzalez, what do I want to put up there, Joe? What do I want to teach? I don't know what to tell everybody. What should I put? We want to be mentoring at scale. We all know those really great candidates, that are A players you could place anywhere. And we see those with potential that are just kind of getting started in your industry, and they contact you early. And you're able to kind of guide and work with them. Obviously, we don't have all the time in the world to spend with every single person and really develop them one-on-one as we wish we could. So how do we do this at scale? Kind of like I'm doing in the group for recruiting in the digital age with our team. How can we educate all of you recruiters at once? Sharing the content, having these group webinars. Same thing through there. Post relevant content that's going to help develop them. What skill sets, what characteristics, what mindsets and strategies should they be putting in place to become that A player? You have that knowledge. Whether it's subscribing to news streams within LinkedIn and great leaders or blogs you like, it can all be pulled into the LinkedIn Pulse reader, and you just are reading content when you have downtime and just turn and share it when you have the opportunity. And when posting there, write a short comment with it, giving them something to think about, kind of guide them in the direction that you want them to start thinking in. But, maybe in regard to posting jobs, you can put information about jobs you have there on your company page, but I would be careful to keep that on the lower end because, when a candidate or client shows up on the company page for the first time, we want to make sure that they're engaged, that they're learning something, and that, really importantly, coming from the personal brand presentation I did last week, that your message as an individual contributor, as well as your mission as a company, is clearly resonated and it's intentional, so that the same message is going to be throughout every single employee profile and throughout your company page and through the articles you're sending. It's one message and it's clear. Again, so you're kind of niching yourself within an industry, and again, really identifying yourself as a thought leader, somebody that's on the cutting edge. That they're coming there and they're going to learn something. They will want to come back and they'll want to follow you because they're establishing you as a news feed of choice. Chances are actually data shows that most members of LinkedIn only subscribe to a handful of companies or news feeds. So we definitely want to make sure that you guys end up as one of those. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's just about, instead of sharing things from your own profile and liking and commenting and pushing things out from, hey, this is Joe, I go ahead and copy that link. I post it to my company page and with a thoughtful comment, and then from my profile, I share it. So that way what happens is every article posted on your company page will be stamped with a link back to your company page. So as that goes viral out to tens, hundreds, maybe thousands, tens of thousands of individuals, it's always going to have a link back to your page where there's going to be hopefully a whole blog style list of great content that's highly focused. That's going to teach and really add a lot of value to candidates and clients.
Well said, Joe. Thank you. And I think this was touched on, but another question that I'd like to address directly is, having a small company, how do you keep followers engaged? I think at some level it's almost easier when you have a small company, because you probably have a market niche segment that you focus on, and you are truly an expert in that area. And so any of the information that you come across that resonates well with you, share that. Additionally, host a blog and have that linked to your company page, right? If you aren't seeing content on LinkedIn that you feel covers your market segment, then why wouldn't you be the one to position that and leverage the LinkedIn publishing platform to add brand credibility to your organization and really fix a spot where you see additional content needing to be housed.
Cool. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up today. If you have any more questions, again, please reference the Recruiting in the Digital Age group. It should be on the links, most of the emails you've received and the invites. But that's definitely a great place. We're doing very filtered, important content that's just for you guys. Next week's session on Tuesday, Parth from our team here will be presenting on some of the content marketing, but mostly on messaging strategies. You know, what types of in-mail messages are the most effective? And where do we take those messaging? Like, how do we establish that relationship with the candidate or client we don't know? As well as, really importantly too, I know we know job postings are paid, but a lot of people are using job postings on LinkedIn, and it's kind of good to see some case studies of good to great and how, you know, what's we see getting the most amount of action and how we can really make it a possessive one, and maybe something that they envision themselves in that's much more powerful. So really exciting stuff, but obviously the important part of LinkedIn is huge in the in-mail. So we want to make sure that as we do all of these things right, from, you know, the ecosystem strategies to your personal brand and story and message, and then again, the communicating the same way through the company page, that in-mail is usually the first point of outreach. So important session next week, but feel free to join Recruiting the Digital Age, and thank you for joining us today.